Everybody got their stories ready to go?
Yep. Are we doing 2 and 2 again, or just 1 and 1?
We're doing.
Because you had mentioned doing that. Maybe we just shorten it.
I say we shorten it. I say we shorten it.
Okay, so we just choose 1 story each.
Everybody has 1 story each.
What?
Each podcast.
Oh, okay.
We get 1, but we have to shorten how long we talk about it.
Oh, okay.
Because last time I went way too long talking about Confederate.
I feel like that lasted the whole podcast.
Yeah, it did. It became a theme. Yeah.
It like weaved in and out of it. Yes.
Okay, so who's going first this week? Because I know Kent has to be done by 9 for his Mad Men group.
So Kent should go first.
Okay, yeah, I can go first. Although since I'm going to be here till the end of both podcasts, I don't see how that makes a huge difference.
Well, she just brought you up, so I thought, hey.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, I guess I can go first. It looks like we're recording now.
I say we call this section "Hats Off." Hats off or congrats.
Hats off.
Hats off.
Hats off. Hats off.
Song for this one?
Hats off. It's all the same song.
Hats off. Okay. Ready?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. I would like to say hats off to Jennifer Burbella, a student at Scranton, Pennsylvania's Misericordia University, which I'm going to take on faith is a real thing. In 2011, she entered the school's nursing program, and at the time appears to have disclosed that she has problems with anxiety, depression, and stress. And in an incredibly predictable turn of events, Miss Burbella doesn't test well, because who saw that coming? And in 2014, she failed an important final exam twice. Now, this happens to a lot of people. That's not why she gets hats off. A lot of people fail their exams. It's a bad thing to happen to you. People take it in different ways. Some people would double down and try harder. I'm
guessing that's not what you did.
This story reminds me of the time that I did very poorly twice in my tryout with the Atlanta Hawks, and after being cut twice, I decided that maybe this was a sign that professional basketball or say basketball on a level higher than dunking on an 8-foot rim over my 12-year-old niece was not for me. And maybe I should find a more productive way to use my talents. So I want to say hats off to Jennifer Burbella of Misericordia for going that extra mile to try and be a nurse by not doubling down but suing Misericordia University for failing her twice. Apparently, her anxiety and depression and stress mean that she needs special, what's the word I'm looking for? Special accommodation. She needs special accommodation as a disabled person because she tests poorly.
Here's my accommodation. You're never going to be my nurse. That's
you. Thank you. I would really prefer that if I get wheeled into an OR if I get wheeled into an ER with a sucking gunshot wound, that my nurse knows how to handle what I'm sure would be an anxiety and stress-filled situation. So you know what? No, not hats off to Jennifer Burbella. Hats off to Misericordia University in Scranton, Pennsylvania, for being the gatekeeper. And keeping.
When did anxiety become a disability? That's what I want to know.
Oh, that's a whole other podcast.
I mean, I'm just saying.
That's a whole other podcast. This is America. This is America.
Well, anxiety certainly was a disability during my Hawks tryout because Glenn Robinson is a very large man.
I mean, anybody can have anxiety, but if it's that bad,
there can be debilitating. I don't want to take that away from it. There can be debilitating anxiety, but
maybe you should be a nurse.
That's probably the wrong profession for her to be going into. I don't know.
Well, and there are lots of programs, like, and options for you if you want to work in the medical field, and maybe you do something hands-on instead of...
Maybe you become, like, the lab tech or, like, the... I don't know, like the ultrasound person or something.
Oh, look, you're having a baby. That's not
it's just, at all. Yeah, maybe you shouldn't do
that
twins. Particular job.
Thank God it's not me. What?
Somebody could die on you. What are you going to do? Like, oh my God, they died. Oh,
well,
you know what?
that's not scary, now. But a test.
Right.
Scantron.
All right, so hats off to
the university.
The university. Hats off to the university.
Change my hats off right in midstream. You know what, Jennifer? I can tell you where to go. Hats off to your school.
So who's next?
I'll go.
All right.
Okay. So I'm sure some of you may have felt this. All of you certainly read about the Great Michigan Earthquake.
Oh, we're gonna come back. We're gonna recover from it.
Yeah, I think we will. We will.
We will rebuild. We will rebuild.
My hats off is in jest, and it goes to I was so annoyed on Facebook immediately after because I had many friends who were because everyone's typing, oh my gosh, an earthquake! Oh my gosh, that was so weird! Oh my gosh, I was scared. It was cool. And they had like a picture of like a lawn chair like tipped to its side, and the caption is "We will rebuild," and it's really hilarious, right? But I had a bunch of friends that were posting now it's very insulting to claim any kind of excitement about earthquakes because we need to remember the tragedy in Nepal. Basically implying that if you had any kind of reaction to the ground shaking beneath you, you were a bad person. It drove me crazy. I was like, people,
not be so uptight.
Oh, that's so funny.
Any kind of interesting life event is if I posted that I stubbed my toe, people would be like, well, you should not be upset about a stubbed toe.
Because some people don't have feet. Exactly. Some people don't have feet.
Some people have no feet. They wish they had toes to stub.
I have a friend who recently went on I guess a baby moon with his wife because he and his wife are expecting. So they had never been to Disney World together, and they decided to go to Florida, and he was really anxious about it. Because he does not like flying. He gets freaked out when he flies. So anytime from now on that he mentions that he's freaked out on an airplane, I'm just going to say 9/11 and drop the mic.
Too soon.
Too soon, yeah.
Way too soon.
Funny. Oh my goodness.
People died.
Speaking of the earthquake, Kara, did you see the one where the road is all crazy separated? And it says earthquake in Michigan causes no known damage. All roads look normal.
I did not.
And it's I don't know if you can see this, but the roads are ridiculous.
Those are normal Michigan roads.
That's just every day.
Yeah. What was it? I saw this meme, and it was. I've seen this before, but it's a picture of a back patio set, and one of the chairs is knocked over, and it says, "The earthquake of May 2015 in Michigan. We will rebuild." And it's just one chair knocked over, which I just thought was hilarious.
So funny.
So all right, yeah. So hats off to those people, right? My hats off this week. Oh God, my hats off goes to the Game Over Agents Task Force, the Game Over Task Force. Out of Ohio. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Shawshank Redemption. If you haven't, you're not American.
I only became an American this year.
Yeah, she just saw it this year.
I'm apparently not one.
You are not an American. Well, anyway, okay, so spoiler alerts on this for you, Kara, because
I know, yeah, go for
you should have seen this movie. So the movie is about a guy who is wrongfully imprisoned, goes to prison for years, and then escapes from basically one of the most inescapable prisons ever. And he does this over years. He cuts out a hole out of the wall, climbs out of the building, climbs through the sewer for 15 football fields worth of sewage, and then gets out. And he's built this whole new life for himself when he gets out, and he's gone, right? And so apparently, it was a great movie. It was written by Stephen King, and it had Morgan Freeman and Timothy Robbins in it. Great movie. Fantastic movie. Everybody owes it to themselves to see Shawshank Redemption. But apparently, it was loosely based on a true story of Frank Freshwater, and he escaped from an Ohio prison in 1959. Now, hats off to the Game Over task force agents who arrested this fugitive. They recently arrested him. They found him. So, bear in mind, he escaped in 1959. This makes Frank Freshwater 79 years old now. So, they caught him. They caught this fugitive from justice. 80-year-old Frank Freshwater.
Way to go, guys. Way to go.
Hats off, Game Over task force. I just feel like this guy was trying to... I'm trying to think of, like, a movie where he would be running from the cops, and all I can see is him running very slowly with his walker in front of him. Like, what are you gonna do with this guy? Like, that is not...
Take me alive.
You have no bragging rights. You have no bragging rights. You captured a 79-year-old guy who's now a trucker.
He can't run anymore. I mean, it's easy now. Just saying.
You know what that reminds me of is a story I heard. It was a few months ago, but a story I heard about how Congress had gotten together in a bipartisan fashion. I know, wonder of wonders.
Nope.
They got together in a bipartisan fashion to pass a bill, and I'm assuming it was signed, to pass a bill to fix a problem with the Social Security Administration and prevent ex-Nazis from getting Social Security pay. And we did it and we passed it. So all I could think when I heard that is that really a problem? Since the last
It's like
Nazi,
let's get together and make it look like we did some work today.
the last
We're gonna sign
Nazi
this bill.
guard who was a guard of anything lost his job in 1945. He would have had to be, at least 17 in 1945? So how many 90-something-year-old Nazis do we have out there collecting checks? But anyway, that reminded me of Frank Freshwater.
Oh, my gosh.
So absolutely, hats off to them.
Hats off. So here's a picture of him. Nobody's gonna be able to see this, unfortunately.
No.
But he was a looker. He was a looker back in the day, and
Sure.
honestly, the way this guy looks now, I think that's his sentence. That's his sentence.
Well, they captured Santa.
They captured Santa Claus.
No! There's
Essentially,
no Christmas this year.
Christmas is over, kids. Christmas is over.
He's even got the
Mrs.
glasses.
Claus is gonna have to visit her husband in prison.
I
It's
saw the
sad.
Santa Claus movies. I know the elves are going to come in and get him. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, true story. They're gonna use tinsel to get him out, aren't they? They're gonna use tinsel.
Really?
That's right. Got more uses than one. So I wonder. I do wonder. Are they gonna put him in jail? Are they really gonna put him in jail? I mean, he's 79 years old. I'm hoping that they're just gonna be like slap on the wrist and be like, look, okay, you got away with it. I mean, if you put him in prison at this point,
He escaped in such an epic way that they're like, we've got something to prove.
they made a movie out of your escape. I just want your autograph. That's why we stopped you. That's why we stopped you. Anyhow, I haven't looked up to see whether or not they let him go or not, but I'm hoping
Like,
they did.
people knew, like, where was he using a different name or something?
Yeah,
or like,
he was using a different name. He was using an
did anyone
alias.
know? Because I feel like that'd be hard to not want to tell that story. Be like, have you seen Shawshank Redemption? Yeah, it's me. It's about me.
Yeah.
You'd
Been
be
there,
like,
done that. You know, it was harder in real life. It was harder in real life. And there was
Frank-
no Morgan.
Frank was a free man at the start of a long journey whose conclusion is uncertain. I hope I can make it across the border. I hope to see my friend and shake his hand. Okay.
Are you
moving
reading
on.
the Morgan Freeman line?
Yes, I am.
Andy Dufresne climbed through 3 football fields, the most foul-smelling. Anyhow, Morgan, that's me practicing my Morgan Freeman voice because since I'm black, I'm going to look how I look right now until I'm
Wait,
oh,
70.
we're gonna go there now.
Okay.
I
Huh?
am. And when I'm 70, I will all of a sudden look like Morgan Freeman. That's
Okay. So
Like
my
overnight.
story.
It could go worse.
night. But I'll know who Batman is. I'll know who Batman is.
Wait, how does that even fit?
He's in the
He's
Dark
in the
Knight.
Batman
He's in the Batman
movies.
movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Follow the theme here.
All right. All
Sorry,
right.
listening world. Anyhow, what's your story?
Okay. So mine is what your pastor's genes say about their theology.
Oh,
Oh,
So
this is
here-
good. I'm excited.
I need to know.
I know, right?
I need to know.
We could do a whole podcast on just this. I'm just kidding.
I've seen a guy come out in Hanes, and I was like, I bet he's an Arminian. I
What?
bet he's an Arminian. I bet he's a Calvinist. He's wearing skinny
Wow.
jeans.
Wow.
He's wearing skinny jeans.
All right, so apparently Relevant decided for I'd lied or I'm not sure.
RelevantMagazine.com.
Yeah.
You can check it out.
They decided for April 1st to do this article instead of
sure
other
it wasn't April
jokes.
Fool's Day?
It says that they've decided to take the high road or whatever. So they wrote this article. Just it's funny. So apparently, if your pastor has jeans with like the the embroidered crosses and bling on them, that they're likely. It says that their sermons are likely filled with lots of cool, overly elaborate illustrations, but they're very conservative despite their jean choice.
Oh, that's very true.
Yeah. So let's
I
see.
can see
Your
that.
extremely tattered jeans. Unless the holes are on just the knees and indicating that they're a prayer warrior, the pastor's messages are likely similar to his pant choice, not appropriate for Sunday morning. Carpenter jeans. Let's see. It says, sure, they may not be as fashionable as they once were, but Jesus was a carpenter, so this pastor is probably pretty solid. And then there's the Jinko?
JNCO? I don't even know what that is.
I don't know, like those big wide-legged ones from like the 90s. So back in the 90s, this minister was likely the coolest youth pastor in town. However, his choice of jeans indicates that he has not moved past 1994 Acquire the Fire heyday.
Oh, Acquire the Fire. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Nothing wrong with Acquire the Fire.
I feel like there's a story there, Kent.
Right? Oh, let's say
I actually. Oh yeah, I never went to Acquire the Fire. I did serve lunch there once.
You never hung out with Ron Luce? You
Never
hung out-
did.
Never did sometimes.
Okay, so pleated jeans. It says the individual is clearly a heretic. Run from this church.
Amen. Preach it, sister.
Overall jeans, they don't really care much about the outward, but they're probably
Overall jeans.
overall jeans. It says.
Literally overalls. I'm looking
Yeah.
at this.
It says the pastor does not care about what other people think if they are wearing overalls in the pulpit. In some ways, this could be a positive trait and a sign of of a leader, but at some point, accountability from a more fashionable elder should take place. Boot cut jeans. It says if
There's
your
way
pastor,
too many
there's
of
just
these.
so many mom and dad jeans, skinny jeans. They're probably following Rob Bell.
Jorts, heretic.
Yeah, George, it just says heretic. Like it's so funny. It really is a funny read. And then of course there's the blazer and jeans classic unofficial dress code of aspiring evangelical megachurch pastors.
Okay.
So yeah, they're just there's all different kinds. It's so funny.
Will you
But-
share that link with me, Jen? That's hilarious.
I will gladly share it to you. I will do that
I
right
think
now.
we should share that link with everybody as a listener. So we're going to
Here,
share
yeah,
that link.
I suppose we can let everyone in on.
We're going to share links for all of our stories if there are links available.
Sure.
for this.
But I thought it was hilarious, and I was like, actually, these are funny, but some of them are actually true.
And so looks
Oh.
looks are important, obviously.
Mhm.
I the
Just for fun.
JNC jeans look like culottes. Capri, they look like capris for your pastor, which is hilarious.
And
I just thought it was a
That's
great
really
article because I'm like, this is just a fun article.
But there's definitely like you can. For me, I mean, maybe just because I've been in the church my whole life, but like I can tell when someone walks in the door to the coffee shop if they work for the church or not. Like this is the kind of jeans
Right?
they're wearing.
So
Well,
true. You can even tell like what branch. Oh, you're apostolic. You're this. You're that. Like you can totally tell.
So it's meant to be
Oh
a joke,
yeah,
but it's
for
true.
sure.
It's so
Yeah.
true. What were you saying, Kent?
I was just saying at my church you can tell that they work there because they force them to wear the shirt.
Oh.
We have branded apparel.
Ah.
Oh.
That's you know what? This is going out publicly. I'm done. Yeah. But yeah, no more comment on the branded apparel. I'm just saying there's a lot of branded apparel.
Oh,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
funny.
With silk screen logos
I can
and
see that.
embroidering. Okay.
That's why I
okay.
go to the Detroit campus.
I
my
want to
friend.
know in this conversation what everybody's pastor's jeans are now. Anybody?
Ooh, my pastor's jeans are in fact skinny jeans. He wears skinny
Okay.
jeans,
All right. So
but he's got a beard too, so
But
it
it-
throws me off a little bit.
so his
He's got a burly upper torso and then these skinny legs.
Rob Bell.
No, he's not
Fowler?
Rob Bell.
No?
He's not
Okay.
Rob Bell.
What about you, Ken?
You know what? I actually had a conversation with my senior pastor today about apparel. He was wearing jeans at the time, and
Mhm.
my question to him was, can you I don't expect this to be perfectly accurate, but can you ballpark for me the last time you wore a tie to preach? And he said it was in the 1990s, and that's as specific as he got. I'm not a good judge of. I probably can't tell the difference. I know
what blazer and jeans guy.
He is a blazer and jeans guy.
There you go.
Yeah, blazer and shirt, often blazer and sweater.
Sure.
I can tell what skinny jeans are, but as far as like boot cut or wide legged, I don't know what I'm looking at.
Gotcha. What about you, Kara?
Well, our preacher usually wears like khakis on Sunday morning, but
he hasn't even graduated to jeans yet.
No,
Wow.
we are a Bible-based church, Calvin. They clearly wore khakis in the first century.
Jesus clearly wore himself some bugle boy khakis.
That's a whole other subject, how we dress for church. But during the week, if you catch him, he usually just has like on some dark straight leg jeans. But a couple Wednesdays ago, he was wearing flip-flops, which I really appreciated because that's a really Australian thing. And when we came back, Todd and I both wore flip-flops to church all the time. And there's a lot of people that are like, "Oh, that's so disrespectful that you wear flip-flops to church." So anyway,
Jesus wore flip-flops everywhere, every day.
Exactly.
We don't really know if flip-flops were around, but
Flip-flops.
yes, they work.
Jesus wore flip-flops. Flip-flop Jesus. That's what I call him.
All right, so my pastor typically does the blazer and jeans thing. However, he kind of goes back and forth. He also does the embellished ones occasionally.
Okay. So.
But he's Italian, so I think that might be a heritage thing.
So I think we should talk about dad bods.
All right.
Dad bod. Dad bod.
Oh, he's singing again.
Dad bod.
Calvin wants to sing on this
Kinda
episode.
chunky in the middle, but not too much. Just the right amount.
Oh
Dad
my.
bods.
Oh my.
That sound you
like
hear
to eat
is
and
people
not
turning
look
off the. But yeah.
Stick with us, people. It'll get better, I promise.
Okay,
I
so
know.
Kara, you suggested this topic, so explain to us this dad bod thing.
Okay,
I've seen lots about it, but what's going on?
I first saw a story on Good Morning America last week about it was some college roommates, I guess. They were discussing amongst themselves how the dad bod is their preferred body type, and basically what that means is someone who's a little soft. they're not like super like working out all the time. They're not a bro, basically, always in the gym, counting all their carbs. However, they're also not overweight. They do take care of themselves. So kind of just the idea of you could like go hang out with them, ride your bikes in the park, and then go and have a couple of beers at the bar, and like they're not going to be freaking out about that. And so yeah, I don't know. I heard that story and I loved it because I tell my husband this all the time. He's going to be 40 this year, so he's very self-conscious about a little extra weight he's put on around his middle. He's still active, he still runs, but we're just getting older. This kind of thing happens to us. And I was telling him, I was like, see, I'm not the only one. I think it's attractive. It's still like you are living life, you're working, it's great. And I wouldn't personally enjoy being with somebody that was like super in shape, because then I would feel like I have to be super in shape too, and I don't need that pressure.
Interesting. Okay.
Let me just say that Kara, who has complained on previous podcasts of the cross that she bears of just not being able to put on weight, how I'm so skinny naturally, I just can't do anything about it. And then here she comes along and says, it happens to all of us. Well, you know what, Kara? All right, yes.
Kara's a hypocrite.
I'm really sorry that I was that girl. I really don't want to see that girl at all because I hate that girl.
But you are that girl.
I'm under no illusions that my time is coming.
As you sit there, by the way, and the listeners can't see this, Kara looks like she has stepped off the tennis court. She is in an ever so fashionable sports attire.
Kara is Barbie. Kara's Barbie. She's a brunette Barbie. She's a brunette Barbie.
Embarrassing me and making me feel really good about myself.
There you go.
So go on, right?
Stop it, but don't.
I know. I'm like, oh, I'm so offended, but seriously.
So glad you noticed. No, that is hilarious. I mean, you brought up this topic, and so Jen and I, for those of you who don't know and are listening, Jen and I date each other, and so.
Wait, that's why she's always there?
That's why she's always
Okay.
here. Yeah.
Well, congratulations, kids.
So we started talking about this today, and it's really interesting because I feel very different than you, Kara, because I am arguably the skinny runner type. I've got washboard abs, and I read this article, and I was like, bull crap. Bull! No way! I mean, but everybody likes their own thing, like you said, and I'll talk about that here in a minute. But it's so interesting to me that is becoming this thing. Like women are like more attracted to the Seth Rogen type, where But it seems to me based on, and I'm sorry you just said this. Honestly, it's like what, it's making me feel self-conscious. So this whole dad bod attraction thing comes out of this insecurity that women have about their own looks. And the guy is with you. He loves you. He loves you hopefully at every shape, and size that you are. And so the idea that attraction for women is born out of an insecurity and an innate insecurity about how they look. I don't want to be with a guy who looks better than me because then I'll feel bad about myself. I mean, the guy could be everything you want, but if he looks better than you and you discount him, I'm not saying that everybody's going to do that. I think that basing your attraction on a person based upon your insecurities within yourself is a horrible way to be attracted. I'm only with you because you don't look as good as the other guy over there who's clearly too good for me.
Well, that's not what the dad bod's saying. It's not like I'm settling for you because you make me feel more comfortable.
But it is kind of what she says in the article.
But I think what they're saying is they're actually more attracted to that type of person or that body type. I think I read Jason Segel is the quintessential dad bod type body, and I'm not saying there's not flaws to this theory at all. There's definitely problems with it for many reasons, but I don't think it's about dating someone you're less attracted to so you feel better about yourself. I think it's about honestly being attracted to that type of person, and that type of body type.
Well, I think actually if I had read the article and that was her premise, I would be like, okay. And maybe the talk that you heard on TV was different, but in her article, the reasons she gives are very rooted in the actual insecurity. She says it doesn't intimidate us, and she goes on to explain that we like being the pretty one. So in other words, they don't want the attention taken away from. She's saying she doesn't want the attention taken away from her because he looks better or whatever. And then she does go into better at cuddling and the good eats, that they don't mind to go out. And then you know what you're getting. In other words, you're not going to get the fit guy who then looks like the dad bod later. And so the first few that she lists are kind of justifying, how she feels about her own self in this article. And so I think for me, I feel like everybody has their own type, and I totally have no issue with that because there are people who are genuinely attracted to different types of bodies, and some really skinny people, some people the in-between, some people more than that, and I think anywhere in between is okay as long as that person kind of owns that and is comfortable and aware of it, and they enjoy that because that's their choice and their preference and their attraction. I think the problem I have is that that's not really the premise that she gives to this article, and that kind of bothers me a little bit. I feel like it's really common though. I know people who have said, hey, I've heard other girls say, hey, date somebody who's bigger than you because he'll always think you're skinny. And I just think oh, that's such a bad reason to choose a guy. So that's just my opinion anyhow.
I'm going to I'm going to say that I have learned something. First of all, I don't understand how dad bod happened. This is just in the last, I want to say 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, just exploded onto pop culture, and I just don't understand. I'm left in the dust by this. However, reading this article, it's teaching me something that I have been taught twice before and had forgotten. And the first time I learned it in college, and the second time I learned it about 8 years ago when I tried to date a college girl. And the third time was reading this article, and that is that college girls are terrible.
Sorry for all our college girl listeners out there. We just alienate one group of people every single week.
Hi, college girls. Despite
that was weird.
Terrible,
that was weird.
That may be painting with too broad a brush. I understand, but let me amend that statement. This girl is terrible. But she's managed to make a name for herself, and I'm sure she's got a ton of Twitter followers. I do want to say about the dad bod phenomenon. I've heard the name mentioned Seth Rogen, and I've heard Jason Segel. As what I've heard in the last couple of weeks as the king of the dad bod is Jon Hamm from Mad Men, and I have to say I find Jon Hamm intimidating and a little cuddly, so I can understand the phenomenon there. Yes, but let's face it, man, he's dreamy.
I don't know what he looks like.
Face it, Calvin. He said face it. You have to face it.
Are you serious? You don't know what Jon Hamm looks like?
Oh wait. He was in that baseball movie.
He's that guy. Really? That's your point of reference for Jon Hamm?
I haven't watched Mad Men.
Is that you know what? I never saw Sex in the City either, but I can recognize Sarah Jessica Parker.
Okay. Well, can I pull my black card out on this one?
Oh yes. By all means.
I'm pulling the black card. Don't know what he looks like. I guess I can. Oh wait, no, hold on. I saw him in the article. He was in another article I was reading that showed him and Seth Rogen. So yeah. Wait. I saw the movie he was in.
That's the black card? The black card is I don't know what Jon Hamm looks like? I was expecting something maybe a little more specifically black.
Well, I'm saying pulling the black card is we don't have to know what Jon Hamm looks like because he's not in any movies or TV shows that we would watch.
I don't imagine that the ratings for Mad Men among the African American community are through the roof. No.
I have not yet. I cannot wait for the finale of Mad Men, said no black person ever. So I think at the time of recording it's tonight, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. So that's so funny. So I think you have a group to go to tonight to watch.
At some point, yes.
Okay. So we're gonna get you out of here before then. But yeah, so this whole dad bod thing it's really interesting because if it was reversed, like one of the things she said, like we like being the pretty one. If a guy said any of these things on this list, well, no, not any of them, but at least those first two, you'd be ridiculed for this, especially that second one. Okay, it doesn't intimidate us. Okay, so I want to be with a girl who's less attractive than me because I don't want to be intimidated by her beauty. All right, or I want to be with a woman who's less attractive than me because I want to be the pretty one. I want to be the one that people pay attention to.
Said no man ever.
Said no man ever, but yeah.
No man has ever said either of those things.
Okay, but we do say it in other ways, like, hey, you know what, I could never be with her because she's, quote unquote, out of my league.
Or too high maintenance.
Right? So she's out of my league. I could never be with her. And so I think, again, nothing against, 3 through 5 here. But the idea of, I guess I do have a problem with the 5th one, but being intimidated, might I venture that if you are intimidated by someone when you are in a relationship with them, there's some other problems going on there. If you have an issue with, clearly this person has an issue with vanity, their own vanity. You know, oh, I want to be the pretty one. This is why, and I was telling Jen this today, lots of pretty girls do this. Lots of pretty, slender girls tend to hang out with fat girls. And so, when they're out in a group, all the attention from the guys seems to be on the slender girl because she looks that much more slender. But if that slender girl goes out with a bunch of other slender girls, well, then there's competition because now the guys are like, wow, you know, which one's the best? Which one's the best here? But if it's like 4 fat girls and 1 slender girl, all the guys are like, she's clearly the best, based on
She's the hot one.
Yeah, she's the hot one,
Yeah.
based on you know, the understandings of our culture, right? What is attractive and what is not attractive, which is sad because I personally like curvier women. So for me, I like women who have a little bit, you know, more to love personally. You know, big
Badonkadonk.
parts of their body that I'm not going to mention in this podcast. But you get what I'm saying, guys. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, say no more. say
Everyone
no
knows
more.
it's crystal clear.
Yeah, it's crystal clear.
Crystal clear.
Go
All right,
on.
okay, all right. I can keep
I am
running
in
it.
the dark, but I'm going to roll with it. All right.
All right. So, but yeah, I find that really, really interesting that is what kind of happens, and then this is what that's what happens when it's just girls with girls, just being friends, right? And it's really interesting for me to have read this article and see that insecurity still come out in terms of the way that many women apparently are picking the men that they are interested in. But that last one, and we're going to talk about this a little bit in next week's podcast, the whole you know what you're getting. It's kind of like wanting to control or know the future before it happens. And I think that's almost kind of taking away from the beauty of being in a relationship, getting married. Like if you had to know everything that was going to happen in a relationship before you got into it, you'd never get into a relationship. Knowing some things are good, you know, how is he with money? How is she with money? How is she with kids? Do they want kids? All that kind of stuff. But the body type thing, okay, you know, he's got a beer gut already, so he's going to have that when he's 45 because he has it when he's 25. But if he's 25 and he's slender, who knows what he's going to be? And I don't want to take that chance. That just seems kind of very
Shallow?
Yeah, it's very shallow. It's very shallow.
Well,
Kara, you're shallow. You're shallow,
I
Kara.
hear you loud and clear. You know, okay.
no, I don't think that even applies to Kara, though, because you didn't get married on this premise. You're saying you like your husband's body as it's developed to what it is.
I like that. Yes. Okay. I have a lot of thoughts I want to say. Okay. I think you guys, I love you all, but you may be taking this a little too seriously.
Not me.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I wish everybody could see Ken's expression and face right now. It's so perfect. It is spot on. I could not care less.
So maybe like Calvin and Jen taking this a little too seriously because I get what you're saying. Yeah, if you're with somebody and you're intimidated by their body, maybe that's a problem. I get what you're saying, and the way this girl writes it is definitely like it's a little I don't know the word for it, but it's not my perception of dad bod. Basically, I feel like what she's trying to say is that that's the personality type she likes. Like if somebody is really chill and likes to be active but also likes to have a good time, then and they're like thin, I mean I think that would be the same type of personality, just like not like super chiseled and not super overweight. I think that's okay. I think that maybe this isn't politically correct, but in general, if I see like a really good-looking guy with a kind of average-looking girl, I'm like, huh, how'd she do that? And if I see a really good-looking girl with a kind of average-looking guy, I think he must be so nice. He must have a great personality, and that like it's a good thing. And maybe that's just me, but I don't know. You probably think I'm a terrible person, but like people will tell my husband, like his buddies, when we first got married, they're like, "Hey man, you really outkicked your coverage," and that made me feel so good because I was like,
You married up. You married up.
Yeah, they think I could do better, but I chose him.
I settled. Oh,
Isn't that wonderful? But like I like that. It makes me feel really good about myself. Like they think he made a good choice, and for him, it makes him feel really good about me too, because he's like, yeah, I got her, she likes me, and I don't know. So I guess I've always kind of seen that as a good thing. I think traditionally in relationships, it is the woman that is looking to be more attractive and more beautiful. I think that makes girls feel good to have people say, oh, she's so beautiful. And guys are like, they want to look nice. But also, there's also the added disadvantage that men, as they age, generally get more attractive, whereas women get less attractive because we have to have like
I
babies.
agree with that.
That's interesting that you said that, though, because Jen and I were, again, talking about this earlier, and I said exactly what you said that's politically incorrect. I said, here's the, Jen's a little bit curvy, and, I'm the, arguably the athletic guy. I'm 4.2% body fat. I'm all lean muscle. I've got great abs. I can pick up and run a marathon if I want to. I ride my bike. I'm very, very active, and so I'm kind of like the quote-unquote good-looking guy to a lot of people, and Jen is curvier and not the quote-unquote standard of beauty. She's not the rail-thin Barbie doll, right? And so I was telling her earlier, I said, there are guys who have told me, they're like, oh, you like fat chicks, you like bigger girls.
Or slumming it? Isn't that the word?
Yeah, you're slumming it. Why are you slumming it? You could do so much better. People have said those things to me, and I'm like, I love her, right? Just that. Wow, really? So it's I hear you because people do say those things, but
it's a double standard. You're right, because it sounds terrible when you just say that. I'm like, that's awful. Like if people were telling my husband he could do better than me, I would be just crushed.
Right.
But I like it when they say it about me.
Right. So it's a total double standard. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I don't think that's unusual. I don't know. For me, I like you were saying, Jen, about people saying you should date somebody who's bigger than you so that you'll seem thinner. And I remember thinking I had friends who were really tall, and they said they wanted to make sure they married someone even taller than them so they wouldn't seem so tall. And obviously that's not the one characteristic of the person they're going to marry, but that was something that was important to them. And for me, I was attracted in part to my husband because he's a lot older than me, and I liked that. It was very comforting to me, and I told him, I was like, I like that I'm always going to feel young because I'm always going to be a lot younger than you. It's obviously it's not the reason that I married him, but it was attractive to me. That was part of the package.
Kent, do you have dad bod, or do you have are you dad bod?
In some ways, I would say. I mean, yes. It depends on who's dad, I guess. I was thinking during that last monologue,
Seriously?
by the way.
Oh my gosh!
What?
Okay, no, you missed it. Never mind. Just keep going. Keep going. Totally inappropriate for the podcast.
I was thinking during that last monologue that shoot, what was I thinking? Edit this out. Okay, I was thinking that Kara needs to bring her husband on the show just for us, so we can determine for ourselves if he outkicked the coverage. Because who knows? Who knows what standards his friends have? It might have been a real small town. I don't
really. I mean, it is in Iowa. I don't know that there was a lot of
Okay. All right.
Anybody that's going to get you out of Iowa. Oh man, you married up and out. Up and out. We're taking Kara down some pegs. It's only because you weren't in Iowa. It's only that's the only reason.
Guys, I really need my head shrunk a little bit.
There's a lot hotter women outside of Iowa, Kara.
Iowa's a fine town. Kara, if I were to do I don't know, I haven't done this, but if I were to do a deep dive into your Facebook photos, would there be pictures of you in a Disney tour guide outfit? Because I've heard that was a job.
Yeah.
This conversation has taken a turn for the weird.
Okay. Hey.
Where are we going here? Where are we going?
No, I was just wondering because I mean that you know what? Just cut this whole thing. It was smart. It was smart in my head. It was funny in my head. It was witty in my head.
I gotta know what's
Podcast is over.
I gotta know where it's going.
I don't. It's a disaster. Let's get back and we can do this twice.
Oh my god.
Oh, this is
I
not
don't
getting
know.
edited out.
You know
This
what?
is not getting it.
It was fine. Keep it in. I guess basically it was a chance, having nothing to do with Dad Bod or the coverage. It was a chance to bring up the Disney job again. That's all it was. Because I find that funny. I find the Disney job funny.
Oh God, so funny. Okay, so we're gonna end that podcast.
Oh,
That
okay.
podcast is done.
Okay.
Oh wait, can I say one more thing about it? Do we have to be done?
Oh,
Okay.
go on.
Please. I did.
Apparently, Jen wants to say something too, so we'll end with you two.
All right, me and Jen will say one more thing.
Okay.
I had talked to, actually I was talking to David, who used to do these podcasts with us, and he just messaged me a few days ago and was like, have you heard about this dad bod thing? It makes me so angry. So I knew I was in for a really good rant, and I always appreciate a good David rant. And he had some really great points, because at the time I thought dad bod, yeah, that's probably accurate, it's pretty funny. But he had some really good points about just kind of the implications for health and maybe pulling each other down as a couple to lower standards rather than lifting each other up. So, I know we all know the couples that once they get together, they get married, and they both put on 50 pounds because they're not trying anymore. They found their person who really cares. And as far as how you look, it's not really a big deal, because you're right, they love each other. But what's not healthy, we should take care of ourselves. It's not just like, let's sit around and drink beer because we don't care what our bodies look like. So I think there's absolutely like a negative aspect to that. I think you do want the person you're with to challenge you. I think it's good if couples get together and one's not as fit as the other, that the more fit one encourages the less fit one to get active and be healthy, because that is loving. You want them to live a long time.
But the interesting thing I said about that is, generally when a girl says that, it's very sincere. But when a guy says it, it's not as sincere, because a guy is like, hey, I want her to be healthy, but really all he cares about is you looking good. This is from my experience, because if a girl had my metabolism, I can eat anything I want. I do happen to be active, but I can eat anything I want and drink as much as I want, and my body's not going to change. My dad still has the body I have.
Girls are writing you hate notes right now.
I know, they're all writing me hate notes. I do sit-ups every morning. I wake up, I sit up, I get out of bed. And so, there we go. Yeah, I'm sorry. But either way, if a girl had my kind of metabolism and could do all those kinds of things, eat whatever they want, a guy would be fine with it. That's not healthy. It's not healthy how I can eat. But if a girl eats like I eat and starts to gain weight, then the guy is concerned about her health, but really he's kind of concerned about the way that she looks.
Here's the thing, too. That idea that, I want you to be around a long time, and I said this to Cal when we were discussing it, it's also a false fear. It's not really true. Because if you look statistically, women typically outlive their husbands. Like, statistically, that's just the case.
And it's definitely going to happen in Kara's case.
Kara's going to be a widow.
Don't go there. No.
What you're saying is right, Jen, but there's also, to that point, it's, not just living a long time, but being able to live fully, to not be unable to play with your kids, or to not be unable to be as active as you want to be while you are living, because you're not in good shape.
All right, we're hanging up. We're starting the next broadcast.
Right.
We're hanging up, but before we go, I just want to take this opportunity. This is not for the podcast, but I want to take this opportunity, and this is pretty much just for Kara, because I don't think Calvin and Jen watch the show. Kara, the video right now with you in a dark room with a window covered mostly by a curtain. Here's what the vibe I'm getting is, hi, I'm Olivia Pope, and I'm for sale on the black market. That's what it looks like right now. It looks like a ransom video.
I'll turn a lamp on for the second.
Okay.
All right.